Morning, guys. How's it going? Well, good morning and welcome to today's session. Today, we are going to start talking about, well, essays, properly. We are going to start. We are going to devote time today to first the structure of the S of an academic essay. Well, let me clarify this. It's a 5 paragraph academic essay, okay? So we are going to read a little bit about this. We are going to talk a little bit about a 5 paragraph essay, academic essay. And also today we are going to watch some videos, essential videos, okay, for our well benefit. We are going to work with these videos. They are so interesting. Well, they will give us a lot of clues, a lot of tips to craft our video, from scratch, start working on our video well since from the beginning, they will give us some advice on how to start and how to organize the essay. And well, we are going to see some templates as well about how to write a 5 paragraph academic essay. So the the session today, well, is so interesting. Okay, so I want to start sharing the readings about this structure. Okay, wait a second. I'm going to I'm going to project. I'm going to project one of um, the template we are going to use for our 5 paragraphs essay. You see, as you see here. Well, in our previous class, we were talking about essays in a general way, in general words. We were talking about essays in general. Now we are going to devote a little bit more time to the structure of the essay. Okay, so this is the structure. We are looking at the template we are going to use our for our essay. Okay, remember that. Well, we don't need to write the essay. Well, yet, okay, we must take our time, well, having a look to this, like the components of the essay, like, well, mostly we could say the ingredients of a good essay, The first part, well, obviously, it is the introduction, okay? So in the introduction, there are three important parts in the introduction. The first one is the hook. Okay, the hook is like in Spanish is like un gancho. Okay, para atrapar al lector. Okay, para atrapar the curiosity of the reader, okay, to catch the curiosity of the reader. So we are required to write an engaging opening that introduces the topic or problem. Okay, we are required to write a very meaningful and interesting first sentence, to uh, to engage, to catch the reader's attention. Okay, well, then we are after this sentence. This Well, it could be called a topic sentence. Then we are required to give some background or context for this for the topic for the topic sentence, for the main topic of or theme of the essay of the first paragraph. Then after that, finally closing the introduction, we always write the thesis statement, okay? So in this thesis statement, we are required to state our main argument or position so clearly. For instance, if we say about the beauty of Colombia, okay? Because of the amount of rivers, the amount of lakes, the beaches, the countryside, the landscape, and all these nature that Colombia is one of the most beautiful countries in the world. Okay? Well, but it's supposedly that we are going to talk about Colombia, the beauty and its beauty. But we can talk also about violence in Colombia, about immigration, about, well, whatever the topic you prefer. Okay? It could be also talking, it could be, well, good if you decide to talk about software development, It's good. You could say, well, that software development is a growing trend in academic in academic well in the academic world nowadays, and it is growing constantly, and it is um, growing, and it is reaching a lot of, well, like colossal dimensions, these software development programs. So we can talk about any topic, the topic you prefer. Then after the introduction, we are required to write the body of the essay, okay? Body of the essay. So in this body, we are required to write 3 paragraphs. Paragraph number 1, number 2, and number 3. Okay, and the same thing. We write the topic sentence, the first sentence to open the paragraph, then evidence, data, statistics, examples, quotes, information, well, background, look, whatever it is, okay, to support the topic sentence and to support the introduction. Then, uh, body paragraph number, body paragraph 2, the same thing, you know, second key point, topic sentence again. Well, we repeat the same structure in the second paragraph, for well, at the beginning of the body of the essay, body paragraphs of the essay, we paragraph number 2, 3, and 4. Those are the body paragraphs. So in all of these 3 paragraphs, we are required to repeat, to use the same structure. Okay? Okay? And in it is also necessary to write some linking words or some transition to the next paragraph. Every time we are finishing one paragraph, it is necessary to write a linking word or a transition to the next paragraph. Okay, from paragraph number one and number two to paragraph number three, and from paragraph number three to paragraph number four, the same thing. Okay, all this. And the same, we are required to write a transition to our conclusion paragraph. Okay, and in this concluding paragraph or conclusion, we are required to restate the thesis, okay, with new wording. We could say paraphrasing the information above, okay? We can use pretty much the same information presented at the beginning of the essay, in the introduction, and the other three paragraphs. We can use and paraphrase, stating the thesis with new wording. And also we are required to synthesize the main points. No repetition. Be careful to say the same expressions we use in the previous four paragraphs. No, it is necessary to use new words, new wording. Okay? And synthesize, I'm sorry, of the main points. And then a final insight and closing thought, okay? In this conclusion paragraph, we are required to wrap up, okay? To close the essay, with what we are required to leave the reader with a concluding idea about the topic we were talking about, okay? For instance, if we talk about violence in Colombia, we could say something like, um, violence has been faced or has been tackled from different perspectives in our Colombian history, but it still remains, it still remains like being one of the biggest problems in Colombia. Well, we could say that as a conclusion for an essay about violence, okay? Well, so that is one of the first um, PDF documents we are going to see about the essay form, okay, about the essay structure, okay? Another perspective, okay? This page, this this document can also guide you to write our 5-paragraph essay. You see, 5-paragraph essay worksheet. Topic, thesis statement, you know, outlined, introduction, hook, background, thesis, Then we move to the body paragraphs, body paragraph 1, body paragraph 2, body paragraph 3, and then conclusion, restate thesis, and final thought. That is pretty much the same, This is like a shorter and more clear, so you can have a look to this as well, okay? Well, and let me go. Oh my God, I was not I was not sharing the document. I'm sorry. I am so sorry about this. Let me see. So sorry. Wait a second. Wait a second. I'm so sorry. I was not presenting the five paragraph. Okay, here we are. I have it here. Okay. So I will share it with you right now. I'm so sorry. I was talking about the paragraph, about the structure, but I was not projecting the template. I am so sorry about this. Okay. So this was the five paragraph template I was talking at the beginning. Okay. And we are required to talk about the introduction, the hook, background, context, and thesis statement to close the introduction. Then it comes the body paragraphs, body paragraph 1, 2, and 3. Okay? Topic sentence, the same, evidence, statistics, examples, and linking words and transition from body paragraph 1 to body paragraph 2. And we keep the same structure, topic sentence, data, statistics, examples, all the same thing. And linking words and transition to move to the next paragraph, okay? And in paragraph number 4, we must make a transition to the conclusion, which is the last paragraph, okay? Conclusion, restated the thesis, new wording, you say, as we were talking. We can say pretty much the same information given in the previous 4 paragraphs, but with new wording, okay? With different expressions, different words, And finally, we must leave the reader with a concluding idea at the end of the paragraph, okay? The idea I was talking about the violence, the violence in Colombia and whatever it is. So that was one of the templates we were talking about. And was the second template, much the same, easier, but the same structure. Have a look to this 5-paragraph essay worksheet, topic sentence, thesis statement, outline, introduction, and whatever, body paragraph 1, 2, and 3, and finally the conclusion. Okay, so those templates can guide you on the first draft activity, because we are going to do a draft. Okay, this is the assignment for this week. It's just the first draft. Okay, because to write an essay, it is required to try, at least, well, I would say sometimes 2, 3, 4 drafts, 5 drafts. Well, this is up to every one of us. Okay. So those are the 2 templates we are going to use. This one, this template, 5-paragraph essay template, and this one as well, 5-paragraph essay worksheet. This one to guide you on the writing process. Okay, now we are going to see. No, this one. I want to share. Wait a second, stop sharing. Let's see. I want to be sure about sharing the correct document, guys. This one. Okay. Now we are going to see, well, this is the structure of a regular, academic essay, okay? This is the structure. First, the introduction. We were talking about the introduction at the beginning of the presentation, of the session, background, context, issues, problem or debate, thesis statement, Okay, that is in the introduction, in the first paragraph, 1 paragraph. And the body paragraphs, 3 paragraphs. topic sentence. You see, pretty much the same structure, the same structure. Paragraph 2, 3, 4, they must have the same structure. And finally, the conclusion paragraph. This conclusion, we can say, as we saw in our previous template, we can use some of the information given in our previous paragraphs, but with new wording, okay? With new expressions. We can paraphrase the information given in the previous paragraphs, okay? But in this paragraph, we must make a summary. Leave the reader with a sense of conclusion, okay? That we conclude writing this essay, you know? So we are going to do our first essay draft, okay? For this online session. So, well, I beg you to write on your own, not with the help of AI, please. Try to write your essay on your own, please, with using your brains, your mind, your hands, and your knowledge and your understanding and how to write a basic first draft for your essay. Okay. Well, now let me share. I was talking about this. Okay. I was talking about this structure of the essay. Okay. I was talking. I am so sorry. I stopped sharing. So we are required to keep this structure. Okay. Remember that today the bottom line of this session is the structure. And we are going to write a first draft for our essay. And this is the structure: introduction, 3 body paragraphs, and conclusion. Okay? Okay, no more. Well, now I want I want to share with you some videos about this essay writing. They are so interesting, okay? They are so interesting and meaningful and well, and they will help us a lot. So let's have a look to this first video. Let me share the link for the video, okay? On our chat box, I'm going to share the link, our first video, guys. Well, okay. So let's have a look to the video, please. It is a 8 minutes video about, but we will watch like 5 or 6 minutes. Okay, just 5 or 6 minutes. Please, have a look to the video. Take notes. I already shared the link. Please, well, for you to watch the video later if you have the possibility to do it. Okay.
Video, we'll talk about how to write an academic essay in 6 basic steps. Before we talk about the different steps needed to write an academic essay, let's talk about what an academic essay is. An academic essay should answer a question. Now, this may be an assignment from your class at university. It should have a thesis statement. This is the main point of your essay and a very important part of your academic essay. It should present or discuss the question by developing a thesis. The thesis is your opinion or the focus of the topic. And it should include examples, supporting evidence, as well as information from credible sources. So let's look at 6 basic steps to follow in writing an academic essay. The first thing you need to do is analyze the question. The next step is to establish a possible thesis or point of view. Then you need to research and take notes. The fourth thing you need to do is to write an outline or an essay plan to help you organize your essay. Then you need to write your first draft from your notes and research. And the final step is to edit and write your final essay. Let's talk more in detail about each of these steps. The first step is to analyze the question. To analyze something is to examine carefully by finding the different parts or details. A possible essay assignment question might be something like this. Analyze the impact of global warming on future food supplies. Now, this question actually uses the word analyze, but analyze means to examine carefully by finding the different parts or details of the topic. So when you receive a specific question to write an essay about, you will need to analyze or examine carefully the different parts of the question. In this question, the different parts would be the impact of global warming and the topic of future food supplies. You will need to analyze the question or examine carefully what different parts you should include in the essay. Here are a few other words that are often used in assignment questions. Describe. This means to give a detailed account. A possible question might be, describe the effects of marijuana on the brain. Another word that is often used in a question is the word examine. Examine means to look at carefully and discuss. An example question could be, examine the major impacts of mental health on society today. You will often be asked to compare something, which means to find similarities and differences between two or more ideas. A possible question could be, compare the effects of marijuana and alcohol on the brain. Evaluate is another word which means to show both the strengths and weaknesses of a topic. For example, evaluate the pros and cons of self-driving vehicles. And one more that you might see is the word discuss. Discuss means to present in detail for examination. Discuss the major differences between solar energy and wind energy. As you can see, these are different words that may be used in an assignment or a question. And although some of the words may sound similar, each one has a slightly different approach. Let's move on to step number 2. Establish a possible thesis or point of view. So after analyzing the question, you will need to decide what your opinion is or what points you want to discuss in your essay. You will then use your ideas to write a thesis statement for your essay. The thesis statement states the opinion or the main argument that the essay intends to answer. If you're not sure about how to write a good thesis statement, you might want to check out my video about how to write this important part of an academic essay. Step number 3 is to research and take notes. You need to research for information on the internet or in journals or in books or wherever you can discuss or evaluate or compare your topic. You will need to organize the information that you find. You might use a chart something like this to help keep the information that you have found in one place, making it easier to find the source again later. Take notes from your research and begin to collect information that you will use in your essay. Step number 4 is to write an outline or an essay plan. This is a very important part of writing a good academic essay. Here are 3 examples of what an outline or an essay plan might look like.
Okay, well, we already watched the first video. Let me move to the second video. Okay, now we are going to talk how to learn. We are going to learn about how to write your introduction. Okay, the introduction paragraph. That is the first paragraph or your essay. Okay. Okay, guys, let's go on. Share the link as well with through our chat box. Okay, guys, this is the link for our second video. Okay, well, let's have a look to this video. It's also so important, and it's just 4 minutes and a half video. Okay, so let me reduce a little bit the speed of the video. Okay, go ahead.
It's the first part of your essay, and it's important to start strong. A great introduction grabs your reader's interest and tells them what to expect. You can write one in 4 steps. Just keep watching. Hi, I'm Jessica from Scribber, here to help you achieve your academic goals. Step 1. Hook your reader. Your first sentence sets the tone for the whole essay. This sentence is often called the hook because you want to catch a reader and reel them in. Avoid long and dense sentences. Start with something clear, concise, and catchy that will spark curiosity. So you're writing an essay about the history of the Braille writing system. We want to start by saying something like, Braille was a very important invention. Sure, that tells us what the essay is about, but it's a bit plain and boring. Let's try turning it into a hook. The invention of Braille was a major turning point in the history of disability. That's more like it. Instead of just stating our topic, we're making a bold claim about its place in history and linking it to relevant social themes. The phrase turning point hints at the big changes we're going to discuss without giving too much away just yet. What does your introduction sentence look like? Pique my interest in the comment below. I'm curious. Step 2, give background information. Next, give your reader the background they need to understand your argument. Depending on the subject of your essay, this might include describing the historical or social context, defining key terms, introducing relevant theories or research, setting up the different sides of a debate. But don't overdo it here. Save your evidence and interpretation for the main body of the essay. In our Braille example, we first introduced the topic. The writing system of raised dots used by visually impaired people was developed by Louis Braille in 19th century France, and then sketched the social context that the essay will address. In a society that did not value disabled people in general, blindness was particularly stigmatized, and lack of access to reading and writing was a significant barrier to social participation. The idea of tactile reading was not entirely new, but existing methods based on sighted system were difficult to learn and use. Step 3. Present your thesis statement. Now it's time to narrow your focus and show exactly what you want to say about the topic. This is your thesis statement, a sentence or two that sums up your overall argument. It's the most important part of your introduction because it defines the focus of your whole essay. A thesis isn't just a statement of fact, but a claim that requires evidence and explanation. The goal is to clearly convey your own position in a debate or your central point about a topic, and to indicate the reasoning behind it. So the main point of our essay is to show why Braille was such an important invention. The thesis statement sums up the two stages of our argument. The innovation of a writing system made for blind people and the social changes it facilitated. More about thesis statement in our next video on this playlist. But don't head on over just yet. We got one more step to go. Step 4. Map your essay structure. Particularly in longer essays, it's helpful to end the introduction by signposting what will be covered in each part. Keep it concise and give your reader a clear sense of the direction your argument will take. In our example, we map out the three main parts of the essay: the pre-Braille situation, the development of the invention, and the consequences. By the way, even though the introduction comes at the start of your essay, you don't always have to write it first. If you're stuck, feel free to work on the rest of the essay and come back to it later. Just make sure you've got your thesis statement to guide you. Click this video next to learn how to write a strong one. I'll see you there.
Okay, this was about the introduction. Okay, now we are going to watch the last video. Um it's about, let me see, how to write a thesis statement. Okay, this is so as well, and I want to share it with you. I will share the link through our chat box, guys. Okay, those videos are good and essential, and so helpful and so meaningful. So let's keep watching the video. It's a 5 minute video as well. Okay, go ahead.
An essay. Today I'm talking all about thesis statements, and you might think that's impossible to make an entire video about thesis statements, but I have so much to say. This series is brought to you by Squarespace. So, a thesis statement. You could say it is the anchor of your entire paper. Let's start. What is a thesis statement? It's a short statement, usually one sentence, that summarizes the main point or claim of an essay and is developed, supported, and explained in the text by means of examples and evidence. Where should it by means?
Well, I would say that these are these are this is a good summary of a thesis statement. It's a short statement, usually one sentence or perhaps sometimes two sentences that summarize the main point or claim of an essay and is developed, supported, and explained in the text by means of examples, evidence, statistics, data, okay? So that's a good summary. That's a good, well, this is the condensation, the definition.
Of examples and evidence. Where should it be? Typically, your thesis statement should be at the end of your introduction. This is not a steadfast rule. You don't always have to put it there, but honestly, 99% of the time, you want to have it at the end of your introduction. A really helpful way to think about your thesis statement is that it's a compass. Imagine that you've just been plopped in front of a forest and someone gives you an introductory ramble about this forest. Your thesis statement is the compass. Right before you're going to go and journey into the forest for a hike, you need a compass. You need something that you're constantly checking back to lead you and direct you through the essay and forest. A lot of my students felt that thesis statements were something they were simply doing for me because I wanted them, because I love thesis statements. And I do love thesis statements, but they're actually a tool for you, the writer of the essay, as well. It's a way for you to keep on track. Constantly throughout your essay, you should be referring back to your thesis statement, looking at that compass to remind yourself what it is you're arguing. A lot of the times research can get out of control. You find yourself on fun but random tangents, and it's important to constantly be linking back to your thesis statement. It's a tool for you also. So how do you make a thesis statement? It's really important to realize that a topic is not the same thing as a thesis statement. Your topic could be dogs, but your thesis statement will be a specific and arguable point about dogs. You could, for example, make your thesis statement, small dogs make better companions than large dogs. There you have a specific statement. It's not a fact, it's an opinion, it's an argument that you're making and trying to defend. Remember that your thesis statement should be an argument, not a fact. I have marked a lot of essays where the thesis statement is simply a fact. Something like, windows are made of glass. That's not something that you can argue. That's just fact. You're just giving me a research paper. What we're going for is an argumentative statement, something unique to you, something that you are proving, something that you're making connections about that nobody else has. If you're struggling to write an argumentative thesis statement, I find it incredibly helpful to do this practice. Write down on your computer, go ahead and type, in this essay, I will be arguing that, and then fill in the blank. That literally forces you to create an argument. You can end up leaving that as your final thesis statement, especially in lower years of university. Just having a clear argument is what a marker is looking for. But you can then, once you have a solid thesis foundation, change that so that it isn't as obvious. Another thing to keep in mind is that a thesis statement is never fixed. You can always change it, and thesis statements often do change throughout the essay writing process. You may have a thesis statement, you write your first paragraph, and you're like, oh, wow, I actually am arguing something else. Or like 7 paragraphs into the paper, you realize, wow, I'm not actually arguing what my thesis statement is. Go ahead and change it. Adjust course to whatever you're actually writing about. You might think that my passion for thesis statements is insane and out of control, but thesis statements can help to anchor your paper. It can help you to link back and constantly make sure that what you're arguing is related to what you said you'd be arguing, and it's helpful to the reader to make sure that they know what you're talking about and can follow your argument.
Well, okay, guys. This is the end of our online session. Okay, so well, please, I want you to have a look to this video whenever you have time. And well, it will give you a lot of insight, okay, a lot of guidance, on how to write your first draft essay. Okay. And guys, thank you. Thanks for attending the session. It was a real pleasure. Have a good rest of the week and have a good weekend. Bye.